Hello Internet, my name is Estelle, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the Morphe 35B palette. Normally I don't leave videos of myself public because the internet is not the best place in the world, mostly, and my feelings get hurt very easily, so be nice to me, random strangers. But I might actually leave this video as public in case anyone is thinking about buying this palette. They need to know what they're spending their $23 on. I don't see a lot of videos on YouTube. I actually looked of people reviewing this palette specifically, especially not in a negative way. And I've seen a couple negative videos about Morphe as a brand, but this specific palette I'm not seeing a lot on, and I can see why. It's not my favorite. So I'm going to get into that. I've been doing makeup for about 4 years, if you don't know me, so I am kind of a late learner, but I do practice a lot. I did my own makeup for my wedding, and I have dozens of other palettes that I absolutely love, so I do know what I'm doing. I don't think I'm just doing it wrong. I think it's the palette. I just think the formula is terrible, but we'll get into that. So I don't know if you can tell, but my eyelids are actually stained purple from when I was playing with it yesterday, so that's not awesome. Let's get into it, shall we? This is what you get. It's an array of very fun rainbow colors. I was very excited about this because though I wear mostly black clothes, I do like to wear bold colors on my face. So for those of you who like to be adventurous with your makeup, this looks like a very attractive palette. But so I'll go ahead and prime the lid off camera and set the primer with this little shade that's close to my skin tone. So you don't need to see that because you won't be able to see it anyway. Okay, and for transparency's sake, I am using the NYX eyeshadow primer, which I really like. It's nice and lightweight and it does the job. And yeah, so we're going to get into the green now, which by the way is the whole reason I bought the palette. It's so hard to find a good matte green. If I see a palette that has a matte green in it, I'm just going to buy it and see how it works out. And in this case, it didn't work out very well in my favor. So I'm going to use the brush first. Just the bare brush, no setting spray on it. It's a dry brush. And I know that's not ideal. Trust me. And the fallout. So the pigmentation is not great, and it doesn't move around very well. It's just really struggle with it. And I did have a lot more success yesterday when I was playing with this. Oh my god. See, I should have used my brush for that, but I'm just gonna leave it because I don't care. I did have more success using setting spray on the brush, which I will go ahead and show you so you can see that. I wiped off the fallout. It was going to drive me crazy. So I've got more pigment on the brush, and I'm just going to tag it with a bit of setting spray, just a little squirt. And obviously the pigment deposits a lot more thoroughly after that, but then it becomes a bit hard to work with. And forgive my sloppiness. I'm not used to working with looking at myself in the camera as opposed to with just looking at my mirror. I also am not used to putting on makeup and talking at the same time. Okay. And then I'm also just gonna use my finger to be thorough. I want to look down in my mirror for this. Excuse me for a moment. Okay. So this is the part where and so I did have to try very, very hard to get the green pigment to show up in a nice, bright, vivid green. And it's patchy as all get out, but it's there. Okay, so next I'm going to take this brush from Storybook Cosmetics and try to blend that out a little bit. It looks patchy, but I'm going to just try to blend the top out a little bit into my crease to make it look a bit neater. And here is what really just killed me last night. When you try to blend it, it doesn't blend, it just fades. I don't understand. Like, I've never had a palette do that to me before. Like, here where I'm trying to blend it, it's not really blending, it's just going away. And I'm at a loss for words. I just don't. And I mean, you can go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth with the two different color pigments, which I tried that. I did last night for like about 45 minutes trying to make it work because I really wanted this palette to work. And it actually looks a whole lot better on camera than it does in person. The fallout is still so real. Yeah, so where did the pigment go? It's not blended, it's just gone. Like, that's not blending, it's just vanishing. And yes, I can go back and forth with the green and the blending shade, the crease shade, and the green, the crease shade, the green, the crease shade, but first of all, I shouldn't have to, not that much. And second, it just really just keeps perpetuating the same problem over and over again because the whatever shade you're depositing just lifts up and makes the first shade vanish. So the shade you're mixing with gets deposited, but the shade you're mixing against just disappears. And then finally, the last thing I want to try to do is blend it with a little bit of the gold for an inner corner shade, because I do a green and gold look sometimes. And we're going to do that. Same problem. It completely picks up the green pigment. And it just looks like I didn't put any on. It's just gone. Like, when I pull away, it kind of doesn't look so bad. But up close, it looks like I haven't done anything. And I'll remind you, I used setting spray to put some of this green on, and like all but this little stripe of it is super faded, and I can see in the camera viewfinder that when I pull back it doesn't look so bad, but up close it's a mess. A patchy, unpigmented, unblendable mess. And really that's my assessment of this palette in a nutshell. The colors are patchy, they're very powdery, the fallout is just a nightmare. And I can't stress this enough, you just cannot blend it. It doesn't blend, it just vanishes. It's so strange. I mean, it's very pretty, and it would be wonderful if all these super vibrant, awesome, bold colors were workable. And I can forgive the formula for not being perfect. I have a couple of palettes where the formula is not perfect, but I can work with it. It just takes a little bit of extra effort. But this is just, if I can't blend it, what can you do with it? Nothing. So sorry, Morphe. I don't mean shade against the entire brand. I've never tried any of their other palettes. Obviously, I'm not going to now because this is not an experience that I'm eager to repeat. Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, their other palettes get such rave reviews. Like the Jaclyn Hill palette was such a big deal. I didn't buy it because the colors, the green was teal. And makeup brands, if you're watching this, and I know you're not because I'm nobody, Make some actual green eyeshadow. For the love of God, stop putting out teal. Everybody has teal. Everybody does teal. For some reason, nobody does true green. I hate you. Moving on. Which is literally the entire reason I bought this palette, was for like these greens right there. And the purples. I like purples too. I also picked up their setting spray, which I don't know how I feel about yet because I haven't actually given that a fair shot. So it might be good, it might not be. After the palette, I don't have high hopes. So TLDW version of this rant is, if you're considering buying any Morphe palettes, use caution, think twice, try your best to find an unbiased review, a review from somebody who's not an affiliate. If you're considering specifically the 35B palette, don't waste your money.